Okay, this is the Williamson County Board of Commissioners meeting. It's March 2nd, 9 o'clock, 9 a.m. Roll call, please.
Oh, sorry. Jim Marlowe,
Present.
Brent Sherry, Tim Atkinson.
Do we have any old business per se? If not,
Well, no, but the dump day deal was on the, I've been talking to Gary for about 2 or 3 weeks, but it may be, we want to stay ahead of the towns because that'll give people 2 chances, you know what I mean? So Gary said last night he's gonna look at, March 26th, April 2nd, just to see what we got. If not, because if you get into May, that, you're into the towns. And we had real low attendance last year because it already, you know, if you get one early or.
I don't think we had it last year, the year before.
Yeah, you get one early, and then they get to have that, that's up to keeping this stuff off the road, so give them 2 chances.
Does anybody have a preference on what date that's gonna be?
I'd have to care, I mean, it would be up to him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They'd get recycling, or at the, when he can dump them.
I can do it. I don't care.
So, anyway, that's all, we'll
You know-
know, he's looking.
You know what that's costed the past?
His cost does absolutely nothing for 16 years.
Okay.
Up until recently, the cost of everything, he paid, they got a couple thousand last year. Because he just can't do it for free. At one time, when we first started,
Well, I knew we
no
paid-
5, it had 5 locations.
I'm gonna say it costs us $3 grand.
I was thinking it was something like that. We don't anticipate it being enough this year.
I don't think so. I think that's the same somewhere.
Okay.
But he said all the overtime stuff was just killing him. Because, you know, they said that.
We need to get it done.
Yeah.
Okay, under new business, we have the FOP Labor Council contract with the County of Williamson and the Williamson County Sheriff's Department bargaining unit contract. This has all been taken care of. It's been looked over. It's ready to go. All we need is, unless anybody has any questions, a motion to accept it.
I'm just showing that signature
Yeah,
page.
the signature page needs to be changed.
That one from when Sandra and Tracy was here.
Well, now, that's the agreement on the insurance. That will stay, because that's when it was adopted.
Okay, so is there a new signature page in there for you guys, or do you need
Uh,
one, or you don't need
This
one?
is the way, this is when it was done, that's what stands.
Right, but do you need anything to sign today, or you just adopted what they?
Oh, we're signing the contract.
Yeah, we're signing.
Right.
That's what
So
she's
there's
asking,
no
is there another
It's a back,
signature
so
page?
they're all gonna look at that.
Okay.
So,
I think that was,
Here's the signature.
I think in 2012, we adopted that.
Right, that was about the insurance, okay.
Yeah, they will sign this, and then they'll sign it, and that'll be it, but no, this is only a 2-year
signature page.
agreement.
Signature page for
Right,
Darrell.
signature page 40.
Yeah, page 4. Okay, so with that being said, we just need a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the Illinois FOP Labor Council Agreement. Note that it's December 1, 2021, November 30, 2023. It's only 2 years.
I'll second.
Jim Marlowe?
Yeah.
Brent Gentry?
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson?
We have on here the collective bargaining agreement between Williamson County Highway Department and Operating Engineers Local 318. We don't have that quite ready, so we're going to skip that. I don't think we need to table it or anything. We'll just.
You're on there.
All right, just keep it on there for the next meeting.
And then we have Walker Bluff invoices. Travis can't be here, but he did talk to me and said that everything was good. And there's no issue. He said if there's no problem with him not being here, then we can go ahead and approve the invoices to be paid. So I guess he's talked with you about the invoices. Did he?
I haven't seen them.
You haven't seen them?
No, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. Just tell me what I'm supposed to pay.
Right.
Why, that's all I care about.
He went through, he,
I just need to know, just the exact amount.
Usually he looks at them, the state attorney looks at them, and
And Travis said there was no,
Yeah,
I mean,
then
he
you
told me
guys
there was no
approve it,
issue.
Then you just tell me, and then I ask for the disbursement of payments.
So, Based on that, I don't have any of the invoices here.
I've got them all right here.
No, right over there.
How much
There's a
is
stack of.
He said that they were good.
There were 100 pages.
We've,
Yeah, it's 1,773,190.
These are- and how much was that again?
$1,773,190.28.
Well, if we have to pay it, so.
Okay. So we just need to approve the invoices that he's sent over. He has looked at them and everything. so,
Yeah, when I
um,
looked at them briefly, it looked like there were waivers of lien attached to them. So
You want to look at them?
that was the thing I was mainly concerned about.
okay, anybody have any
They've been
questions
in there on my desk.
No, I don't have any questions.
We've got Travis looking at these things. Travis is the one that deals with them. If there was an issue, Travis would have let us know. So, we just need a motion.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we approve $1,773,190.28 for the Reed Station Road Extension Project.
So,
Jim Marlowe, Bridge and Tree,
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson.
Yeah.
Under ordinances, we have an amended ordinance establishing civil fees and criminal traffic assignments to be charged by the clerk of the circuit court of Williamson County, Illinois. These fees are going up. Stephanie said that these are going up by about $1. These were brought over by the Brandon Zanati, our state's attorney's office. So we just need to approve the increase of the fees and to approve the ordinance, the amended ordinance establishing these civil fees. We just need a motion to accept it.
Where do they, I mean, when they raise these, actually, you know, is there a cap on it? Are they raise it to the maximum or where do?
Well, I mean, a lot of that's set forth by statute. Now, this is, I'm assuming, if these are all the fees, you know, this is something that Kim's brought up to you guys about possibly needing to reassess, you know, because whenever it was done, that's why you have that exorbitant amount going into court assessment, because you let it go at 50-50 instead of you know, whatever, 75-25, 65-35, whatever, 60-40 split. So, you know, that's where that brings something, offering of, you know, being willing to sign over some of those court assessment monies currently, but it is something that I think Kim's brought up in the last 2 years, that it might be something to reevaluate and renegotiate between the judges and the clerk's office.
You know, the board sets those fees, and that's what this is basically here, what we're doing here.
Right.
But we could establish whatever fees we want and on that.
I would guess they're maxed out.
But as far as the ratio work, which fee goes where
Yeah.
and everything, that's what we're talking about here.
Right.
So,
I mean, since you haven't gone to negotiate that, and if that's in the statute, you should probably go ahead and approve that. That's just something you guys need to,
we need to take a look
you
at
know,
it.
take a look at, because it is, I know at least in the 2 budget cycles I've been involved with, and
Yeah.
Kim has mentioned that.
Right,
You know, each time,
you're correct.
that is something to reevaluate.
So at this time, then, we just need a motion to approve these ordinances unless somebody else has anything else to say.
No, I don't.
Approve the amended ordinance.
So I'd make a motion to approve ordinance number 22-03-02-02.
Second.
Jim Marlowe,
Yeah.
Bridge and Tree,
Yeah.
Tim Atkinson.
Okay, I don't think we have anything else right now. There is one thing I do want to discuss is an idea. I know we had our recycling guy quit. Took a job elsewhere now, so right now at this time, we don't have any recycling. I know we've had one guy doing the recycling at one time, and I think I made a comment a long while back, maybe looking at subbing this out. I know we had Republic do it one time, and Republic, we had issues with them. It was the drivers wouldn't pick up any material that was on the ground. The dumpsters were very difficult for people to flip that lid over, especially seniors. And there could be anything thrown in there. But in thinking outside the box, the only problem I see that we have with one guy doing it, and I know it's nice to have somebody there helping people when they pull up, is if we could get someone to do that for us, contract for us, to where they would be able to, if there's trash left on the ground, you know, basically bring in a dumpster of some sort or recycling bin of some sort. And if there's trash left on the ground, that they would agree to pick the trash up, and we could have a small dumpster behind that is locked with whoever our recycler is would have a key to that dumpster, and then put that junk in the dumpster to keep that area clean, if they would agree to do that. I did reach out to Progress Port. They said they don't go here, but it wouldn't be feasible right now. But what if, the idea is, what if we took a certain amount of money, purchased the recycling trailers, the correct recycling trailers, and not keep them, but donate them to Progress Port with the purpose that we would contract with them. So now it would be their driver and not a county driver that would be required to hire somebody either part-time, full-time, whatever. And then they would then, once again, bring the correct type of recycling trailers. And by correct type, they're the ones I'm thinking of are the ones that, and I forgot the name of the company that builds these things. They have, it's basically like a flatbed trailer that has big separate dumpsters on there with lids that push in, kind of like a trash container that you put your stuff in, you put it in, and it pops back up. So you don't have to open up a lid or anything like that. It'd be very easy. And then they would come, bring in a replacement, take the other one back, and agree to, once again, if there's anyone that happened to leave anything on the ground, and then they could have the key to the dumpster, once again, throw the material in that dumpster, lock it up again. If by some chance, I know we had a problem, somebody dropped off a mattress one time, we have an issue like that, just call the highway department, they'll pick it up, and they'll take it out to the farm and dispose of it there. That way, we would be totally out of worrying about, is the vehicle broke down, is the guy sick, or anything like that. And then like I said, we would contract with them. We do have the funds that we could do this. Now, in looking at some of these trailers, I know they're a little pricey. The trailers that we had before were not the correct type. They were a bottom dump type that you were really supposed to drive over a hopper and then unload it down into the hopper, and then drive off. The problem is they don't have a hopper. So everything is dumped out on the floor. These are the type where they would come, once the trailers are back at Progress Port, lift up with the forklift, unload, and take care of by using the forklift. And then they can dump it easily into the sort. And you would have the various dumpsters. We would still be able to provide the services, except that we are now contracted with them. We don't own the trailers. We donated the trailers to an agency who's employing people with special needs, giving them jobs, once again. Now, this is all in theory. Nothing is in stone yet. I've been talking with Lori Jones at Progress Port. She was contacting this one company to get a price on those trailers just to see what it would cost. I think that, to me personally, would be the best route to go. The only other problem is that when we have one individual doing it is, what if that individual's sick? And what if that truck is broke down? We still have to take care of the fuel. We budget $25,000 a year for recycling program. So that's an idea. It's all it is, just an idea. I'm open to any suggestions on anything.
So if we did that, then the trailer would sit here,
Trailer would sit here as usual, people would
and
come
then it would be here 24 hours a day.
24 hours a day
So
until it
it-
gets full, until they can develop a schedule when to replace it.
So instead of Monday and Wednesday, anybody could drop off the
Anybody could
recycling
drop off.
at any time of the day.
And honestly, if, let's just say for worst case example, we've had people drop animals off in there and stuff like
Oh,
that.
yeah. It's a disaster.
It's not our problem. It'll be up to Progress Sport to deal with that.
Well, the problem is, it will be a problem if Progress Sport says this is ridiculous. I mean, we're not gonna keep doing this, and we're stuck with the trailer, probably $10,000-12,000 trailer.
No.
Because it's gonna be
It's-
trash, there's
it's-
trash, mark my word, trash, animal carcasses. I've been down this road, and they're gonna dump all this stuff, because there's no oversight.
It's,
Now, the advantage of it 24 hours is they're 24 hours. The downside is they're gonna throw stuff in there, so they gotta take it to the dumpster. It was,
and we can set times. I mean, we can
I
set.
mean, and you're talking about contracted, we're paying them to, elderly people like someone there to help them. But they love it. All my calls
Get
are for
the
elderly people.
recycling off,
Yeah.
out of the car.
Get them out of the car, they can't lift it or whatever like that. So,
The trailers would not be ours, that under my scenario.
but when we would pay them to do.
We would contract with them. We would contract so that we have a contract that says for the next 5, 10 years, whatever, you will do our recycling for us. And so everything is on them now.
Well, by the solid waste management law, we have to have recycling.
Right, and
So
so-
we have to do it, so.
So, but-
I'd have to hear more about it, because if a
Yeah.
contract, I'd have to see, because,
well, keep in mind, we already budget 25,000 for it,
Oh,
so
I
we're
got it.
already paying out
I
for
get
it.
all that, but I can see disaster coming, and them saying this is ridiculous, so forgetting it's not working, no.
Well, they couldn't back out if we had a contract. That's what,
Well,
that's,
then I
and
would
that's
sign
hence
it.
the contract.
So,
It's just an idea.
well, we need to get something going,
Yeah.
so, it's been a week and people are pounding me, so we gotta get something going.
Yeah.
We can't keep this thing forever, we
No, it's
we
got
have to do it. By law, let's get it back up and running, so whatever, is your husband working out, full time?
Yeah, he's working right out right now.
I'd like to see what it's gonna cost.
Yeah, I gotta see more of this.
Yeah.
Before we.
But then again, we're talking about a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, how much longer will we be down?
Don't know. But, we're at least in the process, at least looking, making of options. So that's the main thing. We're not doing nothing about it. We are trying to figure out something. And like I said, just buying the trailers, I would be against buying the trailers because once again, like what Brent said, they would be ours. We would have to have our own driver drive it, and everything. No, don't. Let's get out of that. Let's take that 25,000 that we budget, and to me, it makes more sense to contract with somebody. I've had my fill with Republic. I mean, it's a great company, but it just didn't work out because some of the issues we had at the time. Driver could not get out and pick up anything that may be on the ground. And so when he left, it was still trash laying on the ground. Now, I don't know what the reason was on that, but that's what they told us. That we couldn't.
So they take.
Because it wasn't recycling.
Are they taking?
That's what you're gonna get into here.
Are they
But-
taking electronics, they're not recycling?
Pardon me?
Electronics, they're not taking that?
Plastics. stuff like that.
Right.
No, but people come up there and they don't know the mindset, the difference. They see a dumpster, boom, there goes the trash. Probably, of course, say, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's also, just remember what I'm saying.
No, I get it, and I
It's
know
what
what you're
happens.
saying, and I would agree. I would say that's probably gonna happen, and that's just what happens anytime you got any form of recycling. We already experienced that, you're right. But at that point, if we had a contract, they can't back out, is what I'm saying. They have to do it. So, because in just this one scenario, we donated this for this purpose of getting a contract.
Well, I've got other people I need to get hold of, and some what we're doing, so when we're gonna get up and run something? Get somebody to run the truck for a while or something?
Well, I understand your rush here, and I'd like to hear some more about what Jim's idea is. I'd like to hear what the cost is gonna be before we make a rash decision.
I would.
I kind of like the fact that 24 hours a day, they have access to recycling. I mean, I understand that elderly people may need somebody to help them pull the stuff out. It's just, I'd like to hear what the numbers are before we make this decision.
And they may not agree to it at all. They may not. And then, if that's the case, then I think we're back to square one, which is like what we've always been doing. It's just, I see problems. That truck's not gonna last forever. you know, and,
So when will they get back for you?
well, I'm gonna try and get to them this week for sure, you know, because it was just last Friday that I talked to her. So, she was, I forgot the name of that company that builds those, they build all
Yeah.
different types of recycling things.
I have
But
no
basically,
idea.
that's the idea. Purchase it, we could use either capital funds, part of contingency, or some of the recycling funds that we have now. But the idea is donating those trailers to them in the effort to get a contract at a special rate of some sort, because we are giving them these things to help our needs. As of right now, they more or less would not look at buying the trailers themselves and stuff to start this out. So, no, you know, I get it too. I don't blame them either. So, but anyway. All right. Nothing else, anything from the public?
Yeah, before we go over to that next one, I asked Ashley to come up here today to talk about, well, what would you call that, Ashley? It's not really a claims
Well, I
committee.
mean, you had tasked Tim and I
Right,
to research, you know, the claims committee and try to see what we could come up with. So I sent out an email to every county that had a commission form of government, to find out if anybody had a claims committee set up, what their process was and everything else. Basically, I either got no response, or the response was, hey, that's a great idea, when you get it set up, and let us know how it goes. So after that, I went a step further and started contacting some larger treasurers, counties that I felt were well ran and probably had some type of, you know, committee or something in place. Well, when I started talking to some of the bigger ones, like a Madison County, you know, Vermillion, all those, they all have elected auditor positions. So the auditor positions, one of their primary function is to handle accounts payable in their office. So they view all those claims and are the ones that are basically watchdogs for, you know, the budget and the claims. So that went by the wayside. So I talked with Stacy Mayo, the Fulton County Treasurer, who's the vice president of our association. She's very intelligent. I mean, their counties ran pretty well. And she told me that they have basically adopted these appropriation resolutions. In essence, what it is that there's a statute that I guess is back in 2015 that's been on the books that allows for a department head or an appointed or elected official to appropriate transfers within their budget, any non-payroll line item at any time. So just to give you an example, I'll use my office for example, and then other ones that I've seen in this list. So say, I've done this for the last 2 years. So I forego my cell phone reimbursement, and I bought shirts for my office for every employee, so we wear as a staff. You know, it boosts morale, makes everybody happy. People like it because they can identify us and everything, whether we're here out or whatever. So in essence, what I've done is I fill out my claim form and I sign it, but I run those under cell phone expense, which I mean isn't accurate by any means, but that's the way the system and the process is set up now. So in this instance, what would happen would be I would be able to fill out this appropriation transfer form in which I would move $500 from my cell phone expense into treasurer's office, which would be more of an appropriate expense line for this type of expense. I fill out the form and then I submit it to the treasurer's office. The treasurer then makes the changes accordingly within that budget and line item. And then it's presented to the commissioners for review. You're not approving it, but you're just acknowledging that this was done. What this would help do as you look into the future is whenever we start the budget, if I came to you and said, I need $500 extra in my, and this is something I would propose, is if I said I need $500 extra in my treasurer's office supply line, you're going to ask the treasurer's office to supply you with a GL that's going to show every thing that was expended out of that line item. And to truly make sure and to verify that you need that extra $500, or did you just use it for something else and a one-time expense that you really don't need that extra money? Again, it's on an honor system. It's, you know, it still goes like garbage in, garbage out thing. But I think if we were to implement something like this, for example, you would be able to make better decisions at budgeting time, and the office holders would have a better understanding of what their true appropriations were for each specific line item. Whereas now, unless you're at the very end and you're just trying to figure out, everybody runs something under something else. Probably another example, when the sheriff's office came and said that they had basically used monies for training out of other budget line items because they'd already exhausted all the money. In that instance, you would have moved that in there, and then whenever they came to you at budget time and said, we need an additional $25,000 or $24,000 for 4 additional training slots because we have those slots to fill, you could see that they had already moved that, and you could understand the process and how it was filled through. So it creates another level of transparency, I mean, within the county as a whole, within each department, to allow you guys to make better decisions, you know, to do so. The other aspect of this is that you can also move money for like payroll line items, and either into or away from those. That's still enacted and started by the department head, but then it has to be done by a 2/3 vote of the count of the commission. So in this case, it'd be 2 to 3. If you had, you know, 12 people, you're talking about 9 people, something like that. So I mean, but you would approve those requests because payroll is payroll, and you're not really allowed to move those. But in this instance, well, for example, if the sheriff's office was $200,000 under on their payroll, but they needed the $50,000 for training, they would submit that, and you would approve that line item to move from there to there. Or if you have, like, and here's another instance that happened in my office a year ago. I had an individual that left. They were not vested, so whenever they left, I had to pay out their comp time, their vacation time, and half of their sick time. So what I did is I overpaid on that because then I hired someone in, so I was going to have all that extra money that I had to pay out. I overspent on that line and spent it into the negative, but then I made sure that I paid everything out of my automation fund for everything computer related, so I had enough money in my computer line item to be able to absorb that overage. If we had this system set up, I would have come to you asking to move, say, $4,000 from my computer line item into the deputy salary line item, so that way I could offset that extra amount that I had to pay out for that employee that left. And that's happened a couple of times. A perfect example, or state's attorney's office. In that instance, you would have saw, if they would have come to you and asked you to do that, you would have actually seen that there was one extra employee in the secretary department rather than in the the assistant state's attorney's line item that you had discussed about not having. And then it basically found out at the very end whenever that was done. But you would have basically brought that forth and said, I need to move $18,000 from that assistant state's attorney line into the support person line item to be able to offset those numbers. I mean, what it's designed to, and again, going back to the claims committee and everything, is to try to get the most accurate and transparent budget that we can do for the county. And this is about the only way I can see this working. The claims committee part for 3 people or 4 or even 5 people for the size of our county and everything else is not feasible. The ones that have a claims committee, for the most part, have a commission or a township form of government where you've got anywhere from 9 to 22 to 24 people, where they have a claims committee even separated for either 1 or maybe 2 departments that they oversee total, not 8 or 10 like we have here. So this seemed to be, I mean, possibly the best course to try. It's not going to be perfect. We're going to have to teach people, and you're going to have to change your mindsets. on how things are, you know, are done. But I think it would allow for the office holders and department heads to have a better understanding of their budget, to see what they're truly spending and not just pulling something here and using the big pot idea. And then also allowing the commissioners, I mean, when we really start to get into budget time and start seeing those increase requests, are they truly valid, are they truly necessary? Or is there a line item that you could drop and be able to fill or something like that? So that's what, I mean, we came up with, you know, in the research and everything else. You know, I think it's something we should, I mean, my recommendation is something we need to try to do. I thought if we maybe implemented it now, we're essentially giving each office holder a, you know, 6-month or 8-month trial run to be able to kind of implement this and work through it and everything. And then that way, whenever we get into, you know, budgeting, we'll have maybe some material that we can use for documentation and research to be able to see how it's progressing and how, you know, each office is you know, accepting it or not accepting it, and then kind of go from there.
So let me ask one thing, and I got 2 questions earlier, but one of them is you made a statement of somebody, and I'm just trying to understand it, what you're saying here. Says that I want to make this purchase because I need it, okay? Who determines whether that was a real need or not?
Well, I mean, at the time, it's going to be the office holder of the
Office
department.
holder's determination.
It's
It's his budget.
because it's their budget, it's their money.
Right.
But this is going to be a lagging effect. But then moving forward in the budget time, again, if I mean, we'll say, if I said, like, my treasurer's office line is $2,500. If I tell you I need $3,000 or $3,500, I'm going to have to justify that extra $1,000 and also give you, I mean, what my intent is, I'm going to give the 3 of you that general ledger for that particular increase in line item. So then you can look and see what they spent that money on. And then it's your determination of, yeah, we'll give you the 1,000, or no, you didn't.
On
need
any
it.
increase that they.
Yeah, or, yeah, on any increase. I mean, if everything stays the way it is, and if I stay at $2,500 and spend $2,500, there's no issues, I'm able to run my office accordingly, then fine. But if I start asking for $3,000 or $3,500 or $4,000 or $5,000, you're gonna have to justify why you need that extra money, and not just because you say you do, or because you robbed it from another line to, and that way you can also see a pattern of whether or not, was this a true, like, was it a one-time increase that you needed, you know, you had 4 or 5 shares that all broke, and you had to buy them all at one time? Or is this something where you're, you know, setting up and showing a pattern of where you're needing to replace 2 and 3 of some item over the course of a 1, 2, 3, 4 year period, where, yeah, you truly, you know, this is something that's going to be reoccurring expense. I just think, I mean, for what I've seen with, I mean, questions that Summers had for certain items, and then what I've seen from the trust side, you know, there are things that are ran under different line items and that are not pertinent to that particular line item. And unless we try to change the way, you know, the game is played, then you're never going to be able to truly get a full understanding.
Then my second question is, how do you go about implementing something like this, a change like this? What's the
Well, I mean,
procedure?
I'd say it would just be a policy thing. You're just going to basically implement, say, we are going to now, you know, allow or pursuant to, which, I mean, Tom can research this, 55 ILCS 5/6-1003 that permits transfers of appropriations without a vote of the county board, provided the total amount appropriated for the fund is not affected. I mean, you're just saying you're going to follow that statute. And then again, the statute itself states if it's a non-payroll line item, they can just do it on their own. If it's a payroll line item, I'd have, like, if I asked you, if I said I needed to move $4,000 from computer into deputy salaries because I have someone leaving, I got to pay them out, you have to approve that. If you don't approve it, well, I mean, technically, can I still get creative and figure out a way to do it? Yeah, but, I mean, the goal is not to hide stuff. It's to be upfront and for people to
Be
understand
transparent.
and be as
It's not
transparent as
transparency.
possible.
Yeah.
Because right now, that doesn't, I mean, it exists to an extent.
Yeah.
But it could be much more transparent than what it currently is.
I think you agree, the claims committee simply isn't gonna work for this county.
It's not gonna be, because of the makeup of the, only having 3 commissioners,
Well, it's not just
the
that.
size of the budget, the overall volume that the general fund sees and imminent claims, it would be a full-time job. I mean, that's why when you start getting up to that 75,000, population plateau, that's why there's an auditor position that, comes into effect. And we're hovering, we're at 67, we're not there yet. There has been some comments about possibly lowering that to 65,000, because now there's kind of a limbo stage for a couple of those counties, and if you drop it to 65, well, then you capture 3 or 4 other counties, that could have an auditor position. But until you're able to have that, or if you can implement that, then this is about the best routes that we can go that wouldn't just literally overwhelm either, you guys in reviewing and finalizing things, or that claims committee, whoever was, to be appointed, to that group.
Well, why don't you get together with Tom,
Right.
on that, let him do a little research on that, and then we'll get back on this.
Right.
I do think it's a good idea, I really do, and we'll see where we go from there. We'll see how it goes.
On the surface, it sounds great, but it would probably have to be a 2/3 vote, because I probably would never vote for it, on any of it.
But it's within, I mean,
The
okay,
state's attorney, hold on, the state's attorney has said time and time again that once you hand out the budget, we're done. The commissioners are done. It's micromanaging. I'm not micromanaging. I'm not watching over an office holder. There is no way on God's earth that's against the opinion of the state's attorney's office.
it's only pertaining to, your comment only pertains to payroll, and I just literally stated the
Actually,
statute right there, and other counties do this.
oh, no,
So
I'm not done.
respectfully disagree.
Well, you can
There's not
disagree, you're
another
not
option.
sitting up there. Okay, so let me finish. Each year, everybody's needs change. Now, you may say this year you need a new chair or something, so you move to a line item. Fine. Next year, you might do something different. It's not gonna be the same every year. I'm telling you, you're gonna have a backfire. And I'm on record right now, you're gonna have a backfire from office holders on this. You all can do whatever you want. You can try to get the middle vote is all you want. But unless you call the office holders in here and talk to them in person, and not try to cram something down their throat that say we're gonna do this. Folks, I'm telling you right now, I've seen enough around this place. I've seen office holders have been denied certain things, but yet the commissioners can go get money out of a contingency to pay for stuff. That's wrong. Flat wrong. We're no different than anybody else. And I am not gonna sit here. You could ask the office holders to keep track of this stuff, but us deciding what they're spending it on, after we give them the adequate amount that the law says to run their office, there's no way this boy's gonna get involved in that. And I'll yes, your boss about it. Because back says it's a great idea, I'm all for it, then great. I don't believe that's what's gonna happen. It's still, we're still circling
You
around.
did not even understand what I was explaining.
Yes, I did understand.
Yeah,
And I know where you're going with it. You're talking
vote.
about buying things that's,
No,
what
it
is
doesn't.
our business?
I told you, if I buy something and want to move something that's a non-payroll related item,
Exactly.
it's my choice.
It's office holder.
As an office holder,
Sure.
department head,
What-
elected official. Now, if I want to move money from either a payroll line item or ask to have money put into a payroll line item, based on this particular statute, Illinois statute says that it requires a 2/3 vote of the council. So yes, that would have your input. Based
We're
off
back, we're
of
back to
that
commissioners making a
statute.
decision.
Well,
Right.
I mean, in that particular instance, yes, it would be.
Okay.
Per the
There's my point.
statute, that's a literal statute,
Okay, well, you're not an
Then yeah.
attorney. So we'll see what the attorney says.
Okay, I mean, and I'll apologize if I'm wrong, but I'm amazed that this is implemented as of 2015, and nobody has figured it out in this county.
You're crossing lines, that's all I'm gonna say. And just remember what I said.
You're entitled to your opinion, I'm entitled to mine.
It's all right, but guess what? I'm one that wants to vote up there, not you.
Well, that's fine. But if I'm right, I'd expect you to tell me that, yes,
I
I'm
don't
sorry.
care,
was
I don't
right.
care, Ron, tell you it's not gonna work.
At this time,
Not gonna work.
we've got both of our points across, and the attorney's gonna look into this. That's what
Just look back at the notes, and you'll
You get with.
come up with what you
That's
say.
fine. I'll give you copies of everything I got. Not a problem.
At this time, let's move on. We have Colt waiting in the chute. Today, you've been awarded by the board for the application that you applied for. And I assume you've got the grant agreement already and that you've looked at the grant agreement. And we're all good with that? Okay. I'm not sure, is there anything that we need to state about the grant agreement? I know it was Drew that was really working on the grant agreement at the time. Other than that, I think we're all pretty clear on the grant agreement.
I believe so, yes.
Hey, Rodney, has this gone out for bid yet?
It has not. Actually, we're in the process of finishing up the design. We'll probably be looking in order to go out for bid, of course, it's tax time, mid-April.
Right.
We've talked with the suppliers. They're looking at supply dates of about 3, possibly 4 months. So we're going to have this implemented in-ground operating by the end of this year.
Okay. And what was the total amount of that grant?
$290,000.
290,000? And you still anticipate that being the amount?
Yeah, we should be able to cover what we're looking to do. Just an idea is what we're doing is remote read meters as far as on the residents, and then also remote read as far as on the water tower, so they can monitor, and also Renlake can monitor the level as far as in the water tower.
Okay.
We're going to be able to take the existing meters that we have, we're going to be able to retrofit those, remote read meter, and it will be a cellular system because it's spaced out as much as what it is. So,
Do you have any questions about the grant agreement?
Can I ask Rodney a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so are you planning on submitting like a single, like pay request, or you're gonna have a supplier and then an installer and
actually, we'll run it all through the contractor.
Okay,
And so the contractor will be responsible in order to purchase equipment.
okay,
He would then submit I would expect it may take them 2 months in order to get the work done, maybe a little bit more possibly. And what we'd like to do is submit partial pay estimates. It will come from the contractor. And then also then our bill, we would submit that as well. Our intent is in order to provide it to CULP, they approve the bill, and then they will then send that to the county for county's approval, ensuring that everything is fine from that aspect. And then I presume that partial payment would be made on behalf of CULP to CULP, so that they would then in essence be able to pay that bill. Is that how you want it to work?
I mean,
It's actually, you
that's-
asked a great question, because it was the same question I was gonna ask you.
yeah, I mean, I guess, like, we're doing a grant, there's a grant for Johnson City for the water tower, and in essence, they have they're, I guess, fronting the money, and then I reimburse that, but, when I talked with a couple of other, maybe Pittsburgh, they were, I think, one of the same thing, if we could submit it to, the village or the water district or whomever, then let them pay it. I mean, that's fine, I can do that, I just, I think as long as I had a payout request, I truly don't know exactly how in depth I have to report this stuff to the treasurer. I mean, there's all kinds of areas, and I'm not sure if I can get away, I may have to, as long as you're submitting all the specifics, then if I have to put those in after the fact, I can probably do that, but, I mean, my goal was to hopefully not have like, I mean, not weekly payouts or anything, but,
This would be, that's would be on a monthly basis.
that's perfect. Less we have to, I mean, handle the better plan. And then, are you gonna get is the contractor gonna get like the lien waivers and everything and show the
Yeah.
payments and everything? Oh, okay.
And because they won't give him his check until he's got the ones.
Okay,
from the
okay.
fire.
That's one, yeah, I mean, so that should.
We're handling it just like.
You're gonna handle
normal
all the pay
job.
requests, you'll handle the pay requests.
Yeah, we're gonna handle pay requests, we'll handle, meetings and things that we have to have with them.
Okay.
And what our intent is to be able to provide you with the paperwork that you need, which will be a partial pay estimate.
Yeah.
That way he can pay his suppliers and things of that nature. And they're not running into any financial hardship either during the time period of the project.
Okay.
And if there is at any point or any time, any question, whatever, of course, feel more free to give me a call and we'll provide you with what you need.
Okay.
And you think you might have those numbers back sometime in April?
That's what our intent is. Yeah. It may end up being, actually, what's that following? It may be May, because we'll probably advertise it for bid for a 3-week period.
Right.
And what we're doing is we have a base that we're wanting. We're going to also go ahead and bid some alternates just in order to keep things kind of fair and clean. The only problem of it is with the base bid that we're using, we're able to use our existing meters that we have. And so, makes it a whole lot easier, a whole
Right.
lot cleaner.
Okay, so sounds like you may have a couple of different options then.
We may
on
have
how
some
much you
options,
can-
but I'll be honest with you, even if one of the options is a little bit more expensive, we'll probably not go that way because ultimately then we would end up having to change the meter out, which then makes it even more expensive than that.
You know, that brings in an unknown on the quality of the.
Exactly, exactly. So we're bidding the one that we want, that's our base bid. And so at least that way, they can't get outlandish as far as in the price tags.
Okay, and then, this was up to 290,000.
Correct.
So you'll be working on a way to pay for anything that's above and beyond that.
Yes, yeah. We've got avenue in order to take care of that. I'll be honest with you, I already had a meeting actually Monday with the supplier. We're gonna be under 290,000.
This will be done by 2026.
Oh, yes. It better be done by this year.
I'm just saying, what he's doing.
She'll shoot me.
This is not a very huge job. It's not a
No.
big job at all.
No,
Ronnie, how many customers do they have? By the way?
about 300 customers.
Okay. Well then, you got the-
Yeah, were they gonna sign that agreement today?
I have that.
assume that you were.
Yes.
I have it here.
Today.
So you guys wanna sign that?
Yeah, that's why I brought the signature.
Well, I'm assuming that you need that to start getting your work that you need to be doing.
We're moving forward already. But you two need it.
We want you to, we really want you to get started as quick as
We're
possible.
moving forward.
Yeah. Maybe we should have set a table up.
Set a table up here, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have some downstairs to bring up.
I'll talk to Brandon. We'll give him a call. Okay.
Put your-
Set up here, we should have this table out.
I'll reach out to him. I'll send it back and-
Before I had talked to you.
We have anything else on you?
I don't think so. That wasn't that big of a monkey.
We still need to get together.
Yes.
We still need to talk.
Yeah.
So you might.
True.
Okay, just this back page, or you want the whole thing?
I was hoping you would tell me,
Yeah, I
tell
don't
me
know.
that you've already sent the price and the bids out, and I'm gonna have numbers back next week.
Well, I wanted to make
Discuss
sure,
first day of April.
before I'm gonna get to that aspect, I did want to see something online. I've had projects before where it was just about to go to line and they, well, let's go ahead and bid, let's bid, let's bid. And then there was talk, so we might be able to get some money from over here. So it's like, well, don't bid, don't bid. I already had it advertised, I had people out
There's
with plans,
plans.
and then I got to
There's
cancel.
3 examples of what Fulton County does.
As this progresses, is you have those, you have pre-bidding or something like that. You want-
Thank you.
Well, we want
I
somebody
have all
to-
that's why I was late today. Is they gave me all the trees and I still have all my existing ones. We're still trying to figure out how to split it up. They're never pulling me
Thank you
8
all very
different
much.
directions.
Good
Sorry
work.
about that.
I know, are we done yet?
Yeah. Thanks, sir.
Yeah.
That's the phone call I usually get. Anything else you need?
No.
We're great?
Thank you.
We're
Thank
good?
you so much.
Thank
And
you.
actually, will they be getting with you, to set up?
Yeah, I mean, I'll touch base with, I've got Rodney and ones there.
Okay.
And I'll probably reach out to each one of the engineers just to make sure that we're on the same page.
That's good.
Have contact info
Okay.
and process.
So he'll do the same type of stuff.
As what Walker's Bluff.
But, yeah, what Travis is doing for the board, for, not Walker's Bluff, but for Reed Station Road Extension, he'll be doing exactly what Travis does. So he'll prepare those pay requests and have them all checked off. All the Ts will be crossed and Is will be dotted.
Yeah, the only thing I may have, and I don't know if we have the ability to do this. The last time when I went into.
They didn't show up. That was the one for 9 o'clock.
It populated.
No, I guess, well,
You contacted me.
I don't know how you're.
I talked to their secretary.
You talked to her?
Maybe any way-
I didn't speak to him, I spoke to the secretary.
I pasted it in there, so that was, I could physically type it, but I truly don't know. It's gonna be like a learn as you go
Right.
type thing.
Well, I'll provide you in essence what we normally provide, and if there's something that we're needing to change out of it, what have you. It is, it is through an Excel.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Yeah, well, that'll.
I basically generate those and
Yeah.
cut and paste myself, because
Okay.
I don't want to have to redo them.
Right.
Change the name or whatever.
Yeah, this first one will be tough, but then once I
Yeah.
get there.
Well, the real kicker out of this is that
I just don't
probably at most we'll have to repay it.
Yeah.
It's not long-term, whatever. Just by the time we got it done, we'll be done.
Yeah. Right.
All right, we'll get out of your way then.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thank
See you.
Great night.
I think at this time, I'd like to take about a 5-minute break.
Guys, take a break. Stephanie's coming in.
Sorry about that. I got to get of course, still juggling all the different dockets. Yeah, no. Ready? A little bit. I'm hitting the ground running. I'm trying. Good, sir.
Good to see you, Tom.
Yeah, I paused that.
Yeah, okay, perfectly fine with me. I always do this better. I don't know. My dad's name is Tom, so Tom's Bennett, they call me Ben.
Oh, they do crazy?
My parents do, I got
Just
law
took
school,
a
they gave me a name tag. I'm tired of correcting people when I'm
That's fine.
So, yeah, no, I'll answer this or anything. But, yeah.
Well, welcome here. When you get your name.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I apologize. I'm still, so I took over Drew's criminal dockets as well as my criminal dockets that I already have. And so I'm just being pulled in 8 different directions. So I got caught up in some this morning, but
They're gonna hire somebody over there?
they're talking about it. I know Brandon has a few different candidates in mind, so I'm hoping he makes a decision soon. It takes a little off my plate, but in the meantime, I'm just trying to play catch up on everything. I know Ashley had approached me about a few different issues already in regards to some stuff that he had been working on, so I'm trying to get answers to everyone as quick as possible.
Well, there was a great discussion about claims committees, and how to control and I wouldn't say out of control spending, but maybe the indiscriminate spending. The claims committees have absolutely no teeth in them. it's a great waste of time. This may be the only other way to find transparency in what we spend in the county. I don't know if it's gonna work or not, it's gonna be basically voluntary, because once again, there is no teeth, there's nothing that you can force office holders to do. It's frustrating, you know, at the end of the year, we get all these claims, and this, you know, this fund is out, that fund is out, well, why are they out? There's plenty, there should have been plenty of money. There should have been plenty of money in those funds, you know, where'd it go? You know, and that's really what we're looking to do. I don't think there's any micromanaging. It's just, where's the money at?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I wrote down the statute that you referenced. I'm gonna reach out to Brandon, and get some of his input in it if this has been brought up before. But, yeah, no, I'm gonna hit the ground running with it. Try to give you guys the best advice, legal advice I can.
I'm just trying to think if there's something scratching at the back of my head. I had Drew working on, asked him to look at. I can't remember what it was. We seem to find our way into a lot of legal questions here.
Hey, anything you need me for, that's what I'm here for, so no, I'm happy to help. And if it's pressing, you just let me know. I believe I left a message giving you my direct extension over there. I'll give you my cell phone number too, in case you need anything.
Well, I was gonna call, why don't I call you my cell phone?
Sure.
What's yours?
I'm 630 is my area code.
630?
Yep, 640-4236.
630-640-4236.
Yep, it's coming through. All right, perfect.
And managing contacts, creating time. And it's Slayton, right?
Yes, SLAYTON.
In cap letters, ASA.
I have to do the same thing with everyone just so I remember.
I don't know, I've got 2,000 contacts. If you go to my Johns, there's like 200 Johns. Which John?
Yeah, my problem is I didn't start doing it until I came over here, and so I have a bunch of numbers in my phone. I'm thinking,
Who was that person?
exactly? But yeah, I did a little bit better job now than I did, but you know, I was on the juvenile docket for quite some time, so I was most of my contacts are DCFS and that's never a fun phone call to get it at 8 o'clock at night.
No, that can ruin your night.
They can't.
Of course, that child is having a bad night anyway.
That's very true.
So who took over that docket?
So right now, Lisa is temporarily holding on to it just because she was the easiest person to slide back into the role. And then we're both waiting to see what Brandon wants to do. Yeah, it's up to the boss. So I told him I'm more than happy to go wherever he wants to.
Do you want us to push this up closer so they can slide that paper across, or are you gonna just be up there anyway?
I'm
It
going
doesn't
down
matter. We
to-
can-
Because you're gonna be up there.
Yeah, here's the one for first.
So we women on top
Yeah, maybe pull the table up a little closer.
wage increases. Do you think that's helped in recruiting of attorneys in this?
So to an extent, I mean, obviously, you know, to recruit people to work in the state's attorney's office rather than the attorney's office beforehand, you really just need somebody that wants to go that path because they are going to take a pay hit from the private sector. You know, the biggest issue with some of the other counties, surprisingly, I wasn't aware that it was going on, but if you go on the job posting, some of these other counties are paying, you know, starting at 65 for their state's attorneys, which was substantially more than.
That's
they
probably
were.
good.
And frankly, I'm not sure how to justify it, just because 5 years ago, when I left law school and I was looking for jobs, it seemed like across the board, $45,000 for assistant state attorney or public defender. But yes, somehow they're raising them substantially, and I've seen postings of, you know, to 90,000 for state's attorneys, granted with experience, but that puts you in the top pay bracket for our office, and we've had a number of individuals there for 20, 30 years. So, yeah, I mean, I someone who works in public service, I appreciate that people are pouring money into it, but at the same time, I understand, you know, you take that job, it's the benefits.
Right, there's a
Experience.
the benefit package is substantial,
Yes, yes.
especially if you have a family. I mean, that's a $25,000 benefit just for health insurance. And And when I got here a year and a half ago, I was looking at the pay. Well, the top end's a little bit heavy. The top 4 or 5 people are probably a little bit heavy, and they've been moving it up substantially. The low end, it's, in my opinion, is way too low. We want to try to entice the best possible people. And it takes money. Teresa thought she came, she made a, all Sunday. She came over and made an impassioned plea. And, I mean, she won me over, I'm not pushing when it comes to that.
I like how you just slide it on in.
We gotta have it. I mean, we have to have these building people.
Yeah, importantly for Teresa, she was my boss for a number of years, but she does a lot with a little over there. Yeah. It's truly impressive how she's managed to stay on top of it for all these years. But she also manages, she gets a lot of people, just like I was, just out of law school or handling class action felonies. She wants to make sure that they're
I think Brett might be in his office, maybe. When I walked by, he
She puts in a
was,
lot of work,
but I
just
don't
making
mean
sure
still
that she
there.
can work with, work within the salary. She's very she can be very passionate.
Yeah.
That doesn't surprise me at all.
That thing's
She's
turned
really
off.
I'm usually touched by that. But she
some
got to
reason
me
it
this time, I was like,
started
okay,
rotating.
I get it, we have to do something. Well, and John Sanders was one of my best friends, so and so is Steve Green. And so it's not lost on me that we have to do something. I wish we could bring the top down and spread that over the lower. I think we'd have better offices all the way around. The most important thing that I see right now is we need to clear dockets, we need to get stuff done over there.
Absolutely, and one of the dockets I took over was misdemeanor docket for Drew, and I'm essentially working on a huge backlog of charges that need to be filed. Because I can't let them say someone steals something from Walmart, I think they need to show it.
Are you ready?
But then at the same time, I need to start setting out all
Are you ready,
that will
Brett?
allow attorneys to get those files closed, because I don't want any 18 misdemeanors, 19 misdemeanors still on my docket for 2022.
Right.
2020 should be the oldest case that I have at this point, the misdemeanor docket, felonies are a little different, but yeah, no, you're absolutely right. We're working on it. We all want to get the dockets there.
Get them clear.
Exactly. Makes our job easier, so yeah, that's been priority. There's been a number of priority number ones, but that's certainly one of them, so.
Good, excellent.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here.
Yeah, me too. Thanks, sir.
Okay. We're back. It's, 5 a.m. Roll call, please.
Jim Marlowe.
Present.
Tom Gentry. Tim Atkinson.
Present.
Gentlemen,
Let's have a seat.
somebody come up here, somebody's gonna have to sign something.
Come up here, Candy, you got to sign. I assume you guys have got the grant agreement?
Yes, I read through it.
Okay, and you got any questions on the grant agreement? or anything?
We just had one typo that I believe was fixed, maybe on the front.
Was that on the
page.
front page? Yeah.
Hey, I do.
We'll put that out.
Yes, Stephanie.
We're just testing you.
That was funny.
I was just seeing if you were paying attention.
Yeah, that's right. I read it.
But other than that, if you don't have any questions, why don't you go ahead and state once again what you're going to do with this money?
Sure. So we have a permitted set of plans from the IEPA to build a ground storage tank, booster pump station, and a generator, and 15,000 feet of water main that will replace all the original Burgess water main system in the little downtown community there, if you want to call it that. We are ready to bid this. It's ready to go. We've got all easements except for 1 or 2. And I'm hopeful we'll get the last 1 or 2 here very soon. It won't stop the project. It's just a matter of where the water main's going to be routed.
I know one of the questions I asked, call from there, but you're sure you make sure you get this done by 2026?
Yeah, so I wanted it done by the end of this year.
Yeah.
But I've been told by my manufacturers that ground storage tank will take 52 weeks to be assembled on, run through the factory and then assembled on site. So we're looking at this time next year being completed.
Now, our first contestant came in, said they're gonna probably be under the price that we give up to you.
Yeah,
You
they
gonna
must-
come,
they
are you gonna
must
come
have-
under?
I don't know.
But if you go over, you can pick up the difference. We're gonna pay up to that amount, right?
That sounds right. We're prepared to take out a loan to pay for the rest.
Okay.
Ryan, right?
Ryan Farley.
What was that amount again that we appropriated for you?
I think
It's on the front.
35,000.
It's on the,
Seven,
I think it's the second page of that.
$735,830.
I think we'll get most of it built. I think the ground storage tank will be the only thing that's,
Yeah.
we'll get a lot of it trenched in. Well, we'll get piped. We'll get it all trenched in, get all the water mains put in this season. We're gonna build a building to put this booster pump station in. Half of it will be for storage, half of it will be climate control for the booster pump station. That I think will be built. The skid is, they told me 6 months lead time on that, so it's about half the time.
well, you guys you will make whatever arrangements you need to make for whatever, if it happens to cost more than the 735,900, you'll have that. Those arrangements made to pay for the extra.
Yeah, and we're gonna bid, we can advertise this project, like anytime. I'm going out of town next week, and I'll probably advertise it the week after. And we'll probably bid it somewhere around the 1st of April, somewhere in there. And we'll know where we're at on prices then.
Yeah. Yeah, because after today, you guys will be set up. You'll need to get with Ashley.
Yeah, Ryan, we talked a little bit before.
And so he'll do just like Rodney's gonna do.
Yeah.
You'll handle pay requests.
Yep.
And all those, make sure waivers are being
I'll put
turned in.
a sign off on it for the county and whatnot for each pay request or any change order, or any document that's important that you guys need to sign off on.
Okay. And then you guys, I'll assume that you'll be over 750 for grants, right, for this year?
Well,
So
we
you'll have
didn't
that.
receive any other grants. So we're right at that cusp of 750,000. So if we stay under it, fine.
You stay on it, that's great. If you
Yeah, if
don't.
we don't, we gotta get a single audit.
And your ARPA money cannot pay for the ARPA.
We understand that.
Okay.
We got a price from our accountant. It's about $15,000 for the single audit, so.
Stephanie, is this the one we signed, or is there?
Yes, that's the original.
That's the original, okay.
So you guys are ready to get started. You're gonna start digging next week then?
Won't be that quick, but they'll be ready to hit the ground.
You know, Mr. Crane, you could probably have a better, board member than the one sitting back there, that boy back here. We only grew up with each other, but we're not that tall.
We don't let him sit with the rest of it.
Exactly, give him a seat aside. You can sit outside, David. So,
Do you want me to make you a new copy with the right wording on the front?
that's hilarious, that phone
Brian,
call.
how many customers they have in this district?
450.
450, 450, somewhere around there, right close to
And I know in my verbiage, in my narrative, it is one of your fastest growing communities
Yeah.
in Williamson County.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been out there lately.
It's a
but
nice
there's-
area.
There's a lot of new homes popping up. Marion's, pushing toward us.
With infrastructure being put into place here to handle that
This
for the
is great.
future.
I mean, it's,
Just make the value.
I'll just be honest with you, there's other people that live in our district, like Mr. Jared Barris. I mean, they're all about land development. So maybe at some point in time, there should be some more subdivisions, more people living out there. So
Right.
it's farmland right now mainly where he's at.
That's what it always is.
So 25,000 gallon storage tank, right?
It's a small one,
Small
yes.
one, yeah,
But it's very similar to what Energy Illinois has.
right.
You just have a small can to pump from, Yes, there is volume in that 25,000 gallon. Our water tower holds 100,000 gallons. So it does increase our volume, but it's just more about grabbing it from the source that we can control.
So you can always keep your tower full.
That's right. That's right. Right now, we can't fill it except for around 2 or 3 in the morning. Whenever Marion's full and Heron's full and Carterville's full. And we're relying on Red Lake's pressure to fill our water tower. Now we won't have to.
That's good.
Yeah.
And that's how Red Lake likes it. And I just had a meeting with them yesterday, with Keith Thomason and their engineer, and we're all good to go.
Excellent.
And I got a county permit from Travis, he's not here, to run our water mains on some of the county right of way, minimal road crossings and stuff.
One last, we didn't discuss this on the next one. So is this the Burgess Water District or Village of Burgess?
Burgess Water District.
Okay. And then, so I think what, like whenever I was talking with Rodney, you're gonna submit the pay request and then I'm gonna write a check to the Burgess Water District.
That's what I would do.
Then in turn, I'm gonna pay everybody and
Yes.
provide us the information.
Yeah, and I can provide you receipts of that, but, we're
I don't
gonna
want
set
to
up
write any
another
checks
checking
in the
account
bank.
just to keep it clean,
Okay.
Right.
and that way there's no other fuzz in it, so.
Sure. Okay. Well, that sounds good. Mr. Crane,
Well,
congratulations.
we sure appreciate the,
Thank you.
all the help that you give us.
And
Well, I
we've
tell
been
you
holding
what,
out on
this money
advertising.
is
until
a, it's a gift from God. I'm telling you. This
Oh, it is.
Stuff that's getting done in this county now.
I really appreciate you guys spending, I don't know how your buckets of money have gone with this. Putting some of it towards your rural communities is really good. I mean,
That was the most important thing
That's
for
the
me.
entire-
I'll say that right now.
Almost all of it, this round went to it.
Right, that's the most important thing for me was taking care of this, because you guys, I don't know how you come up with money to pay for these things. It's difficult to do.
Grants, and there's grants are just washed up right now.
you can, and there's other revenues, there are other ways of going about it, but they change your rates to get that stuff, and, you know, this has been great, this has been worked out perfect, let's just say that.
And you're the only one that was ready to, on the launching pad, ready to go.
Well, we didn't anticipate this 2 years ago, but we anticipated the problem 2 years ago, and that's when we said, hey, we gotta at least get the plan together, get it ready for, to apply for grants, you know, I mean, that's what we did. So they're doing it right, and we'll make a good product.
Sounds good.
Very good, guys.
Well, thank you very much.
You too, David.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Glad you're sitting over. You didn't get called up to the table.
That was smart, just to have two chairs.
Well, the next candidate is Blairsville. Supposed to be here at 10:30. So,
You get that fixed?
Right, so
I have them all fixed.
Kim has given, the invoice for her calculation of the loss revenue
Yeah.
control. I got the claim prepared. Was $600. It was, 4 hours worth of work to prepare that and submit it. So that was, and this would come out of that $5,000 that you already had.
Right.
And I didn't, I
It's like
could
Andrew looking.
print that out. I've got a running total on a, like a reverse, like disbursement sheet. That starts with 5,000 and has broken down.
Work its way down.
For the two that I've submitted plus this one, so in essence, $1,600 so far.
So you don't anticipate any problems getting these guys paid?
No, I mean, all I have to do, in a perfect scenario would be that they all submit them around the same like week. So then I could, then just ask for one single wire to come.
Yeah.
while we're waiting, you
The-
think you
They'll
could
have
have
to
some-
set up, they'll have to, well, they might, since one of them with a few, we can probably tell them what they would like to see that, those payments.
What do you want me to tell them though, as far as, let me see if they come in
Trust
tomorrow?
me, from a contractor's point
Yeah,
of view,
are they coming in
we're gonna
today?
be extremely quick.
Can they come in tomorrow?
So they'll be going back to make it.
I'm not anxious.
Yeah, well, see, like, I was waiting for Kim to give me that before I asked for a wire for my stuff. I'll just do all that.
Do it one time.
But I mean, if I can, I'll reach out, and since I got Rodney's info, and if I can try to maybe shoot them all an email and say, if we could try to keep it where you submitted either the last week of the month or the first week of the month, so I can file them and do one single wire advance from that month.
Right.
That would make, my reporting and tracking a whole lot.
then there's
One
1,
for-
2, 3, and 4
or just
in
one
terms
for-
of most of
whether
the
it's going one for us.
year. But yeah, class X
Spread it
is
throughout.
minimum of 6 years.
Your next
Department
report has to
of
be
Corrections.
filed after the end of this month, right?
It's gonna be due,
All I got was
right
the answer
April
machine,
30th.
Jen.
Class X
April 30th,
promotion.
yeah.
So
It was
I
started
just-
But you will
resolution
encompass
of
it
building
March,
where
though, right?
occupants are
Yeah,
present.
so I guess,
And
you know,
damage
I'm
is
liking
even the
hearing,
damage is
I'm not gonna
slight
have the bids sit
because
out.
she started
Well,
the
you know,
Sounds like to
residential
me, the only thing we're gonna have is this $5,000 that we
sheds,
It might
pull the
be.
panels
So,
up and stuff like
maybe
that,
we ought to
where
get
it's
that
not
done this
class
month
1
and
or
just
2,
see how it works.
because it's
Yeah,
enough-
yeah.
enough
I'm just kind of, as I'm
occupied
listening, I've been writing down under anticipated
Get
sending
one out
out,
of
you know,
residential area.
the bid information.
Charges class.
I'm assuming that's probably gonna be the
Yeah,
case for
spoke
everybody.
with the fire
So yeah, probably the
marshal
only
here,
thing will be
police
this and
fire
that.
department. He was one of
So
them.
Fergus,
Gotta
if
reach out
they
to the
bid,
fire
if they
marshal
bid
this
the 1st of
afternoon,
April,
because he provided me some,
they'll have contracts back
notices,
within 2 weeks.
that I just
They'll get
wanted to
notice to
touch base
proceed.
on. So, a lot of it's
You
just,
might
know,
see
going through
contractors
files and seeing what
purchasing
needs to be done,
materials
people
by
here,
the
touch
first
base
or
with
second
people
week
and
in
making
May
sure,
at
hey, if you
very
need anything with
quickest.
me,
Yeah.
I don't
the
see
office
that
on
many
this,
faster
contact
than that.
me.
The only thing I think I'm required, if I'm not mistaken, since you have a warden and they're signing these, I think I have to put down the award.
We probably have it
With no expenditure at the current time for that particular project. So I'm probably gonna have to list each one of them and show that on the report. Or just that, you know, there's nothing, and I think, I saw something, they just said that, something, maybe there's a note section, so I would, putting in there that bids are going out, anticipated. Receiving bids.
But I got a stack of
Early
papers
May.
I need by next week.
So you look at the.
So yeah, I spent the weekend going
What's
through
going on?
everything,
But,
trying to
yeah,
get
probably
everything
one of
where
them
we're all good to go.
on expenditures, unless there's another department who's going to or something. For that, I don't know, are you gonna have your stuff?
I opened over everything that he gave me, I made sure,
What's
you know,
that?
I
Oh, they're
basically
gonna do
typed
that
up a
this year.
list of.
They're doing it not this
that we
month.
had.
No, not this
where
month.
we were
That pushed back
on
that
them,
meeting
where
in
the
June.
titles were
Okay.
pretty
So
clear.
that's what I was thinking
And
of,
I
was the
created
one
a
that was
Word
probably
document,
ready,
detailing
it's
each
not
one, and sent it off
project,
to Travis,
like a
and
water
he CC'd me on
or
it,
construction
what he
project.
The circuit court
someone
may
as well,
spend some,
and I
I
haven't heard
can't.
back from you.
Oh, yeah, I guess,
but
I guess if
I
Judge
hope
Green
that's
is
good
somebody
news
right
right
now
now.
starts.
Yeah, they called me, and said we
We
had
have
a
your
problem.
cases.
No, no,
it might
okay,
be
okay.
something.
Yeah.
But,
But yeah, I
because
I didn't
we're
want
March,
to.
we're
March,
March, they're gonna get paid much.
It'll be
So,
April,
yeah,
very early.
Probably,
So
probably
that
some
was kind of
happens.
priority one.
These things.
Right. But you're right, I think we probably have to list all these projects that we assign money to.
Yeah, there were two different tabs, and one of them I thought was now awards or projects, and then the next tab was the expenditures for those projects. Whether they can keep their money total of what
Well,
we
I think,
received.
you know, his work over there was the real problem.
Yeah, 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 that's what he said.
Glad to have
Yeah,
it start.
certainly, they're never a good time to fire someone, but
We'll see how clever we are in 2 years.
I was happy to
After all the
help
audits we
them
did,
step
we've
up
done
and
it right.
try to fill the gap there, so.
But I mean, you literally have met with two people, and you're almost to 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So, that's what it's like. No matter what the headaches are.
Well, if you run it out to 2 people per customer, because that's going to residents.
Well, that's true, yeah, yeah.
So-
So you want to well.
Right.
That's, yeah, that is. a big
Yeah.
Over here and be
Right, so
And
it's
potential-
almost 1,000
Well, and
households.
there was.
And you heard
There was.
the administrator from Fergus say that this may spur some economic growth. I don't know how we can track that.
There's been recent.
Well, I mean, now that there's,
From Missouri.
I mean, the building,
based on
you might have,
Building permits.
While
you're gonna
he was working for
have,
the state's attorney's office.
I mean, you're running out of land.
And it was ever proved that he was. still
Carterville,
working over there, but we knew he was
Yeah,
on the city
you're gonna have to
council.
start having country subdivisions.
Right.
Or you're gonna have an annex.
We're gonna have to annex it.
To be able to pull that stuff in.
Oh, boy.
But even if they do that, well,
I
now
think
you're
he's
talking
still, I think he
that's
was still.
more water, more sewer, more infrastructure.
I think.
More.
All high.
More.
No, you can carry more than one license, and if it's a public defender's office, we're allowed to move.
Well, you know,
So as
there's,
long as we didn't
there's
take
about
personal cases.
200 or
in
so
the county,
housing
I'd
units
stick
that
to
are
slaughter
under construction in
and
America
it'd
right
still
now.
be
Yeah,
fine with
yeah,
contract,
that's,
but at the state's attorney's office,
so-
you're not allowed. to
And,
practice
and I've
any
heard
sort
of
law
maybe
anywhere
another 400 or
other
500
than-
that might come.
And that's just, you know, they don't want any.
That's just
Right.
in America.
Yeah.
Um, he worked for the state, he was,
Well,
worked
it's
for the
amazing.
state. That's what he asks. Yeah, it's an office, people gossip, so I can use, but I try to stay out of it. I'm the man on the totem pole, I'm not sticking my nose anywhere where it doesn't belong.
Those people been so long, give us a little bit, but
That's true, that's true.
some of them have been gone a long time ago. Oh, that's funny.
Got anything else going on?
Rick caught some nice fish when he was down in Florida last
We
week.
did. That put it to me, 92 years old.
You know, you could have brought some of those back. I'm just saying, there could have been a fish fry today.
We just tossed them. That's the next round cutting. Is there anything we're supposed to do on this mask thing?
You know, that's probably a good question
I
because
mean,
the
are we
city of
supposed to
Marion,
rescind something, amend it, or?
the city of Marion rescinded theirs last week, or maybe earlier, maybe Monday, they rescinded theirs. And I actually got a phone call this week about what the policy now is, and I said the policy stands because that's what we voted on. But
Yeah.
that was the thing that was itching at the back of my head. I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, the courthouse is no masks.
Right, but we actually have a countywide policy that we enacted in January.
We have to make a move on that somehow.
I agree.
Will we rescind that, or amend it, or?
If we rescind it, right?
So we could do that
On Tuesday.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So,
Add it to the,
and in the meantime, we could just let people, Sears know that.
Yeah, it's optional. You gonna wear it, don't, you know?
When you came in, did they ask you to wear a mask?
No, and I actually asked, the security guard was masked, so I thought maybe there was still a mask. He said it was just his choice, but that I did not have to wear one.
And then I think that one more than
That's
likely,
why it
our
should be
policy is,
optional.
that mask will be optional. We're not gonna tell anybody they can or cannot wear a mask. It's none of my business.
I'm not much people, I'll wear it. I don't care. I got
And they appreciate that, man.
I got the answering machine.
I'll try and protect the old man. I'm not gonna take any chances.
I tell you what, man, I looked at those pictures on Facebook and your dad looked pretty healthy.
For 92, you'd be 93.
He's gonna outlive us all.
Unbelievable.
He's having a good time.
His brother's gonna be 96, and he's unbelievable. And their sister's 94, and she's unbelievable.
I think you're gonna be planning this again next year.
So we'll have to go a different route.
They sold their place down.
Yeah, you'll have to get a VRBO. He said, I don't care what we get, I may go, whatever. So it has to be a different situation.
Are they supposed to get that trucker revolt or something come through?
Supposed to go through Effingham.
I don't know, what is it? Oh,
The people that were in Ottawa, Canada, they were, I guess they were driving through Illinois here at some point. Supposed to go through Effingham, I heard.
we're supposed to do what, applaud them? What's the point of it?
Go out there and show your support.
Shit. Oh, mercy.
Paul Lunsford, how you doing, bud?
All right. Paul the man, how are you? Look up the front table here, well, it's the ejection,
Paul?
it's the ejection seat.
No, are you by yourself?
What do you mean?
Huh? Yeah, no,
This present moment, yes.
this present moment. How many years I known you, Paul?
Good Lord. Well, considering I'm a Wildcat, and my dad retired here in 68, so you were probably born what?
63, so you're old, much older than I am.
Yeah, I probably known you as 70, so what's that?
So, 45 years.
45 years.
You haven't changed much, Paul.
Don't plan on it.
Good to see you, man.
Great seeing you all. Thank you.
I was getting ready to yell at you. I was gonna say, who stapled this? Okay. We got Paul Lunsford here, Weathersfield Water District. And Paul, your application was for 1.7 million, 1.7 and $738,800 to build a water tower at Weathersfield. How many, just a couple questions, we've been asking the same questions to everybody. How many people are served on Weathersfield Water?
330.
330.
And that obviously changes a little.
That fluctuates a little bit.
Correct. And I think we have about 100 on sewer.
You guys don't have another tower, though, do you?
We do not have a tower.
Right, so this is the only tower.
This will be, yeah, correct.
Right. This actually will help you manage your pressure, plus it will solve the problem of the,
It's gonna clean up a lot of issues
right.
and reconnect us with a secondary water source.
Instead of inlet, yeah. Absolutely.
We're from Rand and we'll be connecting to
Lakeland.
Lakeside, which
Lakeside.
is Cedar.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win-win for everyone in Northwest County.
So even though your customers are only 330, it actually benefits a great number of people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know at one time there was talk of getting our pictures up there, our photos. I mean, I don't know if that's the right word.
I think it ought to be
Our version of Mount Rushmore.
Put Paul up there.
We'll put
I would tread very lightly with that. folks. You better tread lightly,
Okay.
Depends how far somebody can throw a rock.
especially after the roundabout. We could probably do something with you on the surface of the roundabout.
Are you suggesting that Jim go and stand in the middle of the roundabout?
All three of you go in there and lay down.
Well, I didn't do anything about the roundabout, Paul.
Well, I'm not a fan of
I've
roundabouts.
yet to see anyone that's had anything to do with the roundabout.
I wouldn't even hear
And
it.
if they did, they certainly deny it.
I'm not a fan of, so don't put me
I'm
on
gonna tell you
surface.
all right now, I was wrong. The roundabout is a very, mathematically, from a safety standpoint, it's worked very well. Unfortunately, it put I think we went and borrowed $350,000 to relocate water and sewer lines to do it. Thank you, state of Illinois.
Yeah, that's right.
We know who the culprit was.
Like I said, I bet Marion's gonna be facing the same thing with Wildcat Drive.
Absolutely. I don't. I'm not
Well,
an
I
expert.
know I think Lake of Egypt, they're looking at like $2 million to replace pipe on the right of way. Down 37. Because they have,
Now they-
what, 8.5 miles of it down
The county's got a grant for, put one on Skyline, around
So,
Crenshaw Skyline.
do you have any, you've looked at the agreement, do you have any questions about the agreement?
I think we're good. Our engineer, everything will facilitate through Clara Ziegler, correct?
there. Right.
Yeah, we're good.
So that's where you would sign, and then I'll sign it.
Paul, do you know when Brian plans to put that out on the streets?
Oh, it's bid.
Is it
No,
bid
it's
right
sitting
now?
ready to roll, yeah. We're just waiting for y'all to write checks.
Well, you dig some ground up out there, we'll get you some money.
They're underway.
Are they underway on the
They are, correct. I can't speak to the specifics on the
water tower? specifically?
on the water tower, but I know the grading and site preps taking place.
Excellent.
Oh, are you the chairman of the?
I am.
Okay.
Thank you.
That was easy, wasn't it, Paul?
Last time I signed something fancy, Governor Edgar gave me a pen with his name on it.
I got a bid.
Hey,
They don't
we
call
got
me.
some census pens, a bunch of them, you want some?
You folks are
I'll
way
give you a
too.
handful of them.
If I could get a copy of anything.
Do you want the
I
whole
signed, I
thing or
appreciate
just the back?
it. Well, probably ought to have the whole thing since we have a board meeting tonight. I'm probably gonna get
Thumbs
strung
up.
by the thumbs. No, strung by the thumbs.
I was gonna say, hopefully you've already gotten your thumbs up.
And there's no questions about our other applications.
We haven't discussed that.
Not yet,
We
Paul.
wanted to stay within the limits of our first tranche.
Right, we had
Baby steps.
baby steps, yes.
Understood.
A lot of the small, a lot of people, a couple of filler town, wide ad.
No one's more important.
Yeah.
We don't care about those two. We're focused on the northwest, the historical northwest corner.
That's the only place in town.
Hysterical or historical?
Both.
Okay.
You go to the tavern, you'll be hysterical. If you study history, you'll quickly see it's historical.
Yeah.
Is it because you're out there?
No, I'm a transplant. Remember, I'm an old wildcat. But, yeah, I'll never forget the day I moved into town and Bill Romeo, I lived in the old Moss Farm and he was a gunsmith. Had a little shack out back and Mr. Romeo waddled up to the front door and said, "You gonna live here for a while?" And I said, "Yes." So I'll sign you up. That's the rest of the history.
Oh, Bill.
Yes, sir. You're gonna have a Mount
There you
Rushmore.
go.
That's it.
There you go, compliments of your tax dollars. These are, we can't get rid of them fast, they're census pens, they're really,
What can I
they're
get?
not any good,
What
but
can I sell them for?
Whatever you get out of
We're
them.
gonna pay for that roundabout utility.
We got hundreds of them. They're not, they're not very good either.
Standing back there, so
That's why you're giving them away.
I tried 3 the day before this morning started working.
So Paul, Ashley will probably have to get a hold of somebody out there and figure out how to get you paid.
Yeah, who's your actual engineer? I mean, is
Claire
Brian?
Ziegler, Brian Ziegler.
Brian, okay, I'll call Brian.
Everything goes through him. Now, obviously, he will approve the pay request, bring it to us, we'll cut the check. And then we understand that the day we cut the check, you're gonna put money in the bank, or are we gonna have to finance that?
Well, I mean, I'm gonna need the pay request for the amount, and I'll wire the money into our clearing account, and then get it to you, I'll cut the check and get it to you.
We're paying the bill, correct?
Yes, yeah.
So
I'm
you'll
gonna
wire
write the
direct to
check.
our
I'm gonna
account?
write- Yeah, I'm gonna write the check.
I think we're,
To the Blairsville Water District.
right, I think we're Bank of Herron, so that shouldn't be any issue.
I mean, for my purposes, I'm probably gonna wanna cut an actual check and deliver it to somebody. Than wire, just because it's an easier paper trail to be able to keep as a folder.
Okay. And how long do we have to expend these funds?
That project has to be completed by 2026.
Okay.
And then
You
you
should
guys
be
have your,
done by 2023 sometime.
Yes, I would hope.
Well, you're gonna have to be probably done by then, and so other requirements are probably gonna come into play.
Right.
and then do you have your single audit set up? Yeah,
I don't understand.
well, you're getting over $750,000 in a grant, so you're gonna have a single audit for your water district.
We have an audit every year. Is that what you're asking?
It's a single audit
A
for the
single audit.
grant funds only, so it's gonna be.
Is that the new thing that just came out?
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be
Every-
10
every-
to 15.
All our clients are dealing with that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a brand new deal.
Yeah.
We're actually, that should have been incorporated into the bid specifications. You probably need to,
Well, you're not allowed to pay for the single audit with ARPA funds, so that's why I was asking, you actually have to pay that outside of the scope of.
It runs between 8 and 12, 15,000.
better be some good pins, that's all I can say.
Well, if it's your personal checking account, I'm sure
Right.
one will work. Just tell your board, there's some nice pens, just
Yep.
make sure you find one that works first.
Are there any other rules that we need to be aware of?
Well, you have to pay the rest of it, you have to pay this 1.7 back to
I
us.
mean, that's probably.
We'll set you up some payment
Because otherwise, the documentation, reporting and everything, I'll be coordinating with Brian to get information to.
I don't foresee any other changes, but the grant agreement has been set up to where if anything does come down unforeseen, it'll apply.
I know the materials have been ordered, and we took the chance doing that. So I wouldn't be surprised if you have the funds available.
We can write you a check
Yeah, I can
today.
write you a check today.
Okay, go ahead.
Well,
If
No, it'll be materials, because we had to reserve a slot, and we'll have Mr. Ziegler contact.
okay.
Good.
Brian will be an old pro at this by the time he's done.
Very capable,
Brian's represented a couple other different entities as well,
very good,
so.
Right.
very capable. I worked down at a high school. In fact, about this time of year, we all put our chairs together and watched.
March Madness.
We did. It wasn't that many. It was one class back then. Well, thank you all so much. Blairsville Water District's very grateful.
Thank you, sir.
We are struggling. We can't get we're dual county. And we're struggling getting the Jackson County volunteers. We'll keep dealing with that.
Okay.
Have you heard any more about, is there anything you're dealing with in overlaps with intergovernmentals with Jackson County?
Just the road project.
Only the road? Because we've been approached about, water line upgrades in Jackson County, so. And let me ask you this, what county is the building being built in?
Which building?
Williamson.
Are there multiple?
The casino itself?
Mhm.
100% in Williamson County.
What about the hotel?
100% in Williamson
Williamson.
County.
Everything on the right side of
What
that
school
road.
district is that?
The Carter.
Carterville?
Yeah.
And was a TIF set up?
No.
No enterprise zone.
No enterprise
too.
funding.
Wow.
Surprising,
Yeah, amazing. And then last question,
No,
where
ask
are
me
we,
as you want. We got.
where are we with the 10 million study on the road project? Is that something you're participating in with the state of Illinois for Country Club Lane?
That is the, state.
I don't,
No, that's.
You're talking about from the roundabout.
From the
Yeah,
roundabout?
Paul, that,
Oh,
I saw some of those
no,
plans,
sorry.
I didn't see a good plan they presented at all. And that's, you know, they're still gonna have to go across.
Who's
And I think
that?
all that's,
that
I
would be IDOT.
don't think it's 10 million. I don't think it's gonna be like 17 or 18 million.
Well, no, that was,
Yeah,
let me be very specific. 10 million was in the budget and approved. And they have $10 million for planning.
Okay, 10 on top of 10?
Absolutely.
Oh, no,
If you read the legislation, that's what you'll find.
that's all IDOT.
So the-
We have nothing to do with that.
I was told by IDOT, the main person, that it's more or less a dog and pony show. They have to go around and show these plans to everybody to get their input. 80% of the people were not a fan of it at all. And they take that to the state and they decide they're gonna get the money or not. I'll be surprised if they get the money on that.
Well, the money's already there to do the feasibility study, which also
That's the
means,
study.
the way I understand it, land acquisition.
You know what
And if
they-
you look to stretch, it's very feasible that 10 million covers.
Which one? Which
Well, they've got two different routes to go.
One's up higher and one's up more to the north.
But we know what our state is. They would never build on high ground.
No.
They're gonna build structure.
One involved a bridge, another route
Yeah,
involved,
One had a bridge.
3 sections of 3 12-foot culverts, or tile, whatever you want to call it, at 3 different spots, and there was 3 of them at each spot.
Are they presenting these plans to the county then?
They've already.
They've already presented, yeah. It's
They've had a
just-
location they've gone to.
I mean, like I said, we have nothing to do with it. It's not our project.
Okay. Will that be something that will become a county road when it's finished?
You know,
That's a good question.
that's a very good question. I think, truth be known, I think IDOT would rather it become a county road. Talk with Travis.
We don't want a structure
We-
though.
We don't want a structure. Travis, feels that, if there's a bridge, leading up to a bridge, you know, the embankments, that poses a problem trying to keep that down, as far as maintenance goes. So, you know, as far as the county's position, I pretty much have to say that, the county doesn't want it.
And then the $6 million question. Are they gonna extend water and sewer in that new right of way? And
That has
so,
not been,
who's
as far
that?
as I know, it's not been talked about.
Well, that's because their head's in the sand.
It should be, you're correct.
Well, no, because it goes back to the original grant. I don't know, or feasibility study that was prepared by a former state IDOT employee. And we were invited to go review the plan. And our immediate question was, where's the easement for water and sewer?
Right.
And the design engineer said, oh, we forgot that.
Well,
So,
why-
and that was 10 years ago or 8 years ago.
Why build the road if you're not gonna develop the land along the side of it?
We had a presentation from them probably just a few months ago. And at that point, they were just telling us what the 2 different plans were. Now, I know in being on the Central Board that there is a definite need to have an east-west corridor connecting Route 57 all the way to the Southern Illinois Airport, and to ease traffic burden on Route 13 on the north side of the county, which would be the Heron Culp Road, extending all the way out. And so eventually, maybe you might see that happen, but I mean, right now, we have nothing in place.
I'm going to ask one simple question. Will Blairsville Water District ever be responsible or be asked to extend a major water line and a major sewer line on the county's new road, if it becomes the county's new road?
Paul, I don't think anybody here can answer that question.
We don't know enough about it.
I just want to go on record asking.
Honestly, Paul, there's no way we can
They,
answer that.
they haven't talked to us about any of that, so I would say yes or maybe, or I don't know. They have to come to you, it's your territory.
Well,
It is your district.
you know what they told us last time, the state, if you don't do it, we'll do it, and then we'll send you the bill, and you will pay the bill.
Of course.
This might be 2 different things though, Paul, because originally it was water lines that were installed on the state right of way. This time, if they ask, they're asking, they're not.
I look at it this way. A developer wants a road, or the government wants a road. And to me, they're synonymous, they the same to me, as a utility provider. Whoever wants the utility is gonna pay for it. We certainly aren't in business to go construct new utilities unless we go into a long-term loan commitment with rural development or something like that.
Right.
We don't have the wherewithal to do that, nor are we set up for it. In the 70s, you could go write a $100,000 grant and put in a whole water system. You can't do that today.
Right.
And nor will we be able to. So there's no question. And just for your benefit, the main reason we were told they're going that direction is public safety, because Blairsville did flood and the Blairsville Bridge did flood.
Right.
And the DeSoto, the new bridge, did not flood. So there's a difference of about 5 feet in elevation. So,
Really?
so it's a safety that, I think that's the rationale behind that. Now, whether or not that's accurate, I don't know.
So speaking just from my opinion, county's not a municipality, it's not a utility company. I just assume we never build another water main or sewer line or anything else.
Which you have.
That's just my single opinion for one single commissioner.
Yeah.
We should not be in that business.
Right. Well,
Sometimes we inherit them though.
well,
Sometimes we
I get
hear
it.
it, right. In
We
2020.
We need to figure out just like you, we're trying to develop a long-range plan. And I'll just be, we're talking to other communities about bypassing coal. And maybe now that we have a new water tower, we may go straight to north of Heron.
Right.
And develop that, so we're no longer running everything through coal, because they have such dramatic issues there with the maintenance and the upkeep of their facilities. So the city of Heron's in dire need, I can tell you.
They are.
They're
North
dire
of
need.
Heron, they need help.
They need water, and it needs updated quickly.
Everybody in this county, all the smaller, Heron is a bigger, much bigger utility, but everybody needs help.
Well, anybody that's fed off Red Lake,
I can speak for all three of us that 5.7 we put out for this kind of help in small communities was, we all thought that was a great thing.
I don't think.
It touches a lot of people.
Sure.
There's health hazards, all kinds of, you get water and so you guys, you have a nice tower, very nice.
But Paul, I'll tell you this also, back to your original question, it will never be my intent to hurt any utility. So if something like that was gonna hurt your utility, I wouldn't be for it, not at all.
Well,
That helps.
You all know the history of the roundabout, because we stomped, we did everything in our power, and they said, we don't care whether you move the utilities or not, we will.
Right.
And we will back charge you, and you will pay. So, that's the way it is in this state.
Right.
So, unfortunately, it's what we
You
do.
know what, Paul, that's the way it is with this money that we're handing out.
Well, and I'm sure the state can come in and do the same thing to this county.
Right.
Same thing, if the project wasn't completed on time, that money has to go back.
Sure.
Right.
Is this federal money or state money?
It's federal money,
Federal.
right out of the US Treasury.
So we need to thank I don't know anybody federally, I'd be willing to thank some. All right.
Well,
Not anybody supports
this
it
is,
anyway.
well, you can thank your kids for paying for this, because they don't have the money to be sending this out to us.
I have a grandson, but he lives in St. Louis, we'll see.
That's gonna get a really good paying job.
Well, I expect that, I anticipate that will be necessary. If there are still jobs by the time he comes around. So, is there anything else?
No, we're
Everybody
done.
good?
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
Brian Ziegler thought this meeting was tomorrow.
He's coming tomorrow. He said he couldn't make it today.
He'll probably talk about.
He's not going to the Missouri Valley like I am. Actually, I'm going to coach's banquet, that's what it was.
Does NBC start in St. Louis?
Southern Place Friday night at 8:30.
Is that the play-in?
No,
I'm surprised they
They
make
got
it in.
sixth
place, yeah, they're in sixth place.
Holy cow.
I'm impressed with the women's.
They're very good, very good. We'll put these on the counter and we'll chicken scratch all three of your names in them.
We appreciate it. I hope they work, Paul, because I've had trouble with them.
Paul's good seeing
I'll
you.
take
Y'all take care. Stephanie, thank you.
Yeah, we're-
Lawyer guy, stay out of trouble.
Have a good day, sir.
Well, you know, he did bring up a good question, though. They're gonna run water and sewer down there. If they do build that road. They never spoke about that. I don't remember them
Not a
talking
problem.
about that.
Not a problem.
And that could be, well, but I mean, he's concerned about it. He needs to be put at ease about it.
He gets worked up, but it, yeah, I don't know.
Can you ever be put at ease when you're dealing with that? So. Well, that's all I got.
Do we
You
have
got
any
anybody
more?
else coming in?
Not today, tomorrow.
What are we doing tomorrow? Who we got? What we doing?
Although Brian Ziegler's supposed to be here tomorrow to do the White Ash and Lakeside Water District. And then he'll talk some about Blairsville too,
What time will we reconvene?
1:15.
1:15 tomorrow?
So we don't have anything this afternoon.
No, but there is one more thing. That Frontier service agreement, have you guys talked to anybody since Chris isn't gonna be able to do that anymore? I've had some people ask
You mean
me.
about the phone situation?
Yes.
Chris never emailed, 'cause I was gonna send it out to everybody, never emailed that, company he, thinks a lot of, but the problem is they're in Indiana, and I'm not a fan of using anybody not out of the state. I don't think we should be supporting other states if we're
Mhm.
commissioners or the county. So I don't know if there's local people who do telephones or,
Are we out of, is the telephone service up then?
no.
It's the contract, the service
the
contract.
maintenance. Which there's nothing gonna happen to the phone.
Okay.
Listen, as much as we're paying on that.
Because the information I got was, is that the phones would be turned off.
Oh, no.
Guys, that
No.
that cannot be possible.
No, Chris said you got another 4 or 5 years. So let's just say, as much money we paid back, let's just say your phone goes out. You can buy your phone for $100.
Well, if you can buy this style of phone.
Yeah.
Right.
He says they're out there. But he said he was going to send an email, but he was going to mess with my house, see?
Secondly, we talked about getting the phone system with the internet system. Whenever our contract with
Get
Clearway.
it all together.
I think
Get it
it's
all
why,
together.
But I think it's two different things. I think we're talking two different things. I may be off here, but you're talking about internet and supplying the line for the phone.
Talk about our internet use in general.
Internet and phone lines.
Yeah, because we
That's
have,
different
We're talking
than,
maintenance
we're
on
talking
the
about the
equipment.
maintenance of the phone. That's
okay.
two separate animals.
do you know if we change the phone company, the phone supplier, if we'll get new equipment with that? Do we know?
It will cost us dearly. Chris is saying, he's suggesting that CDS does not do, I wouldn't do a thing with your phones. They're wonderful phones,
Right,
unless you absolutely have to.
right.
I have to agree. I don't spend a penny on
I don't
that.
want to spend anything on equipment if we don't have to.
So I guess just let the maintenance go status quo, I guess we'll just.
Just
kinda-
let it go.
Yeah, because I
expire.
think it expired at the end of February,
Well,
wasn't
let it roll. It's fine. Yeah, they're out of business. They're going into fiber. So Frontier, he said, finally has something they can brag about.
Okay.
Because it's sure not their internet side, or their internet.
As long as the phone's working, it's the most important thing.
Okay.
It's a good day when they don't work though.
Anything else?
Hey, your cell phone's still gonna work. Now, Jim, we're gonna talk all day. We're just gonna keep this meeting going.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what, I'm gonna
Would you
make a motion to recess and reconvene tomorrow, March 3rd at 1:15 PM.
I second.
They weren't gonna protest. We don't want to go.
And you guys can stay here and finish.
We talked.
We haven't got a second. We're
Stephanie.
going.
I
Jim
second.
did.
I second.
All right.
I'm quick on the
Jim.
draw.
Yay.
Yeah.
Brent,
Yeah.
Tim.
Yeah.
You cut her down short today, didn't you?